Welcome back to Owlchemist Tarot, serving tarot straight up. So this is going to be a singles general reading. I started it on TikTok, so I'll kind of go over the 4 oracle cards that I pulled. I'm going to go ahead and pull some tarot just to kind of give you a little bit more insight on what this kind of look like. Maybe, you know, Spirit will give us more of an indication on time frame and maybe kind of the type of energy that might be coming in for you. And again, use discernment because this won't be for everyone, okay? But so if you're new to my channel, welcome, please subscribe. And if you're a return subby, I always appreciate it, okay? So this is the Intuit Oracle deck. And so the 4 cards that I pulled were Waterfall, Grasshopper, Tree, and Heart. So basically the message, just recap, is that a lot of individuals are getting closer and considering of maybe putting themselves out there and maybe wanting to try to date again or be open and vulnerable to even consider dating. And there's been a lot of healing work. There's been a lot of releasing. There's been a lot of cutting of bad patterns and, you know, recognizing kind of things that you want to work on as an individual. So you're the best version of yourself when you enter into your next relationship. And this is a big deal because this is really taking ownership and accountability for, you know, your growth, right? And that I think that there's a little bit of fear though still that, you know, because you do have to take a leap of faith if you're going to put yourself out there, and it takes a lot of courage. But I feel like for some folks are still holding themselves back because, you know, they are scared of, you know, trusting the wrong person and not seeing red flags and, you know, allowing their emotions to run away with them rather than being, you know, matching energy and those types of things. And again, those things can happen, but I feel like ultimately if you really want, you know, love and a relationship and something that is truly, you know, blissful and happiness and joy with another person, then I really think that you have to learn how to trust yourself because you'll catch it. You'll catch yourself. Your intuition is going to be a little bit more spot on this time around, right? It always is. You've evolved. You can spot the red flags. You can, you know, if something feels off, it probably is. You know, communication is key and all those things. So, and you don't need cards to tell you that, but ultimately what I'm saying is that if you want it, then you're going to have to trust yourself that you can catch yourself if things are maybe not going in the right direction, okay? So I'm going to put these cards kind of, I don't know if I'll do that, but I'm going to be pulling some tarot. Like I said, maybe we'll get more information. So Spirit, let me just move these so I can shuffle in front of you. Spirit, what do the singles need to know? What do they need to know? What other information? And I think the biggest thing Spirit is saying off the top, not even with cards, is saying that you need to not let your emotions get the best of you. Look at things very, you know, I don't want to say too logically, but looking at it as, you know, take people as they are. And if people typically show you who they are very quickly, so pay attention to that, right? Don't go against your intuition or your gut because you're always spot on. Okay, what do we need to know, Spirit? I'll just be pulling from the top. Okay, I'm just gonna put these oracle cards because I don't have a ton of room, so. Okay, let's get on with it. Yeah, so interesting, I was saying in the beginning that there's still some hesitancy and kind of a little bit of like nervousness. We got the Hangman, which usually is this kind of stagnant energy where it's not that there's not an unhappiness or frustration or stress necessarily. It's almost like, look, I'm choosing to be single for a lot of different reasons. I know why I'm single, and there's all the difference in that statement, but the Hangman is also kind of in suspension, trying to figure out what direction they want to take, you know, what makes the most sense for them. You know, what are there still some unresolved issues that, you know, are still holding you back or trigger you, right? So the Hangman is like, I think like for the most part, you're not necessarily ready to move forward yet, but you're trying to figure out, if I were to, what are still some of the things that I need to focus on? What is the path, or what are some, you know, whether it's therapy, whether it's, you know, doing something new that you haven't done out before or whatever, or like, putting yourself out there a little bit. Like, what do you need to do to put you in a state of mind to build up the courage to put yourself out there to consider dating again? Hopefully that made sense. I feel like that was a little bit of a ramble. And I feel like it's a balance of things, right? It's a balance. It's not about, having to go 100%, like, I'm just going to dedicate time to date. It's not about that. It's allowing, and if you're interested, to create time for dating in your schedule, right? Where you can control the who, the when, the how, the if, and taking that power back and not feeling like you're chasing anything, because that's a really big key. If anything at this point where you feel that going out there or trying to meet new people or date, it gives you too much anxiety or you're just not into it, then it's not the right time, right? Listen to your body. Listen to, how you feel when you start to bring it up. For some of you, it's like taking it very slow, putting maybe a profile up, maybe accepting a couple invitations. That's, you know what I mean? And taking it very slow, and making your intentions very clear. So I feel like for a lot of you, you have more control than you give yourself credit for. And again, this is not necessarily, I know it might feel like a little bit of a crossroads where it's like, and typically sometimes with the Two of Wands, it's kind of like, it is this kind of take action type of energy, especially with the fire, fire element attached to that card. But this is not about, it's not a black or white situation. And it's not a very like, I have to do it or I don't have to do it. It's like, you can do whatever you want. There's shades of gray in this situation. And again, if you find yourself like you're starting to kind of put yourself out there and you find you're like, you know what, not the right time, still don't feel comfortable, cut all of it off. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't put so much pressure on yourself that you have to do something or you don't. Like, just take kind of the pressure out of it. It's like not trying to think that, okay, this is my last shot for happiness and my last chance to find a person that can deal with my crazy and vice versa. Don't think of it that way. It's going to happen when it's meant to, right? In the Hierophant in reverse, this can certainly indicate that, and by the way, these are maybe upright or reverse for you, so I'm going to explain to you what they are for me. The Hierophant in reverse, though, is indicating maybe from past experience or past relationships, you're not looking to maybe go into more of like the traditional approach. So for some of you, for instance, you were married, you've gotten divorced, or you're separated, and you're not looking to get married again, or not anytime soon. It's definitely not something you have to do. So it's not, like I said, one way or the other, or like all or nothing. That's not what this is about. And I think the biggest thing is you're kind of open to, maybe less traditional approaches to relationships. For some of you, maybe this is the first time that you've actually really gotten to date and you're dating a couple people, or, this is the first time that you're maybe making the move, and like reaching out to someone. That takes a lot of courage if you've never done it before. So I feel like you're a lot more open this time to, it has to be a certain way. And typically the Hierophant is a very traditional type of energy. It does represent the institution of marriage and family and, religious institutions and all that stuff, right? And so for some of you, you may have really been brought up that is the way you do it. I can tell you that I grew up with women who, like, especially they were, maybe kind of in that Bible Belt area where it's like you got married to your high school sweetheart, or you went to college and you dated and you got married right after that. You got married young and did that kind of stuff. And had kids right away, so it doesn't have to be that way. And I think for a lot of you, it's like you're looking at ways that fit your lifestyle now, that you've evolved and healed and really a focus on what you want now in this time of your life, instead of worrying about like the quote unquote status quo right way of doing things, because there's no right way. It's your way. Ace of Swords is, I think at some point you're obviously going to make a decision if you're going to do it or not, right? Ace of Swords is clearing the path. It's becoming clear on what you want to do and how you want to approach it. Ace of Swords is a new beginning. So for some of you, what I'm going to tell you, if you've been kind of really, really going back and forth and it's kind of been in the forefront or back of your mind of like, should I start, a dating profile, or should I sign up for, you know, activities around where I live, or, you know, should I go by myself to do this or this? Obviously be safe if you're going to do it. If you're going to do anything by yourself, I should say. But I think that if it's a kind of this nagging thought, it's probably the universe telling you that you should be brave and give it a go. This is a new beginning. It doesn't mean that it has to, that you can't evolve and change your mind and, you know, shift in a different direction. Like, please don't think that it's all or nothing. And again, I feel like that's a big part of this reading. You have the power to make the decision. So again, do what feels right. The Devil card is just coming in, I think, to remind many of you that this is not putting yourself out there and kind of getting back in the dating game, even though, let's face it, from what I hear, there could use some chlorine in the dating pool. There's always characters out there that you need to keep an eye out for. But that this doesn't have to have power over you or control over you. So for example, you might meet some individuals or match with people and it just doesn't pan out, or they're not your cup of tea, or they come off wrong, or, you know, this is, it's just, this doesn't, or they ghost you or something like that. Don't let it hang over your head. Don't let it have power or control over you, because ultimately, just take it for what it is. Take it as just being in the now. Not everyone's going to see your brilliance. Not everyone's going to understand what value you bring. And that's fine. We just cut that energy out as soon as you see it, so you can open up to energy that is actually better suited for you, right? So again, if you feel awkward or uncomfortable, or at any time like it doesn't match, cut it. Swipe left, whatever the case is. You're not obligated, okay? So again, the Devil card is, don't let anything, especially in this, you know, you putting yourself out there again, or wanting to date again, or meeting new people, do not at any time think that, you know, you can't have say in what you want and what you don't. Like, don't feel pressured into anything. So this is, again, just reminding you that the power always lies in your court, in your hands, okay? And the Two of Swords is that, I think for this is like, use your intuition. You know, everybody, anyone and everyone can write a good profile, or, you know, you can doctor photos or whatever the case is. But ultimately, you have to go with your gut and your intuition. So you have to remember, I've said this before on this channel, that you have two eyes to look and you have one eye to see. Really start to tap into your intuition and do not stray from that, because ultimately that is going to tell you, okay? Don't get worked up in how they look or what they do or how much money they make. Just, if it's the chemistry's not there, the chemistry's not there, okay? And you cannot force chemistry. I don't care who you are. And the more that you can follow your intuition, and the more that you can start to pave a path and get rid of the energy that's not aligned with yours, that's when you start to allow and make room for energy that is. You know, this is a soul connection. This is aligning to someone that has, you know, a lot of the similarities that you do. They have the same values and morals and likes, and they like to have fun. And, you know, it feels very natural. It's nothing's forced, you know? So again, don't force anything. This is a test and a lesson for a lot of you to trust yourself. And that's key, okay? Because when you do, you'll know when the right one is the right one. Oh my God, 10 of Cups, amazing, right? So again, you know, this is, the more that you trust yourself, the more you're going to align to the right energy for yourself. And, you know, the Six of Cups sometimes is known as the soul connection card. It can mean sometimes someone from your past. So, you know, again, a lot of times when it rains, it pours. That saying that it's like, you know, sometimes they all come out of the woodwork at once. So it could be somebody from the past, but I'll tell you, there's going to be a connection in your future that is very, very harmonious. 10 of Cups is happy home, happy relationships, happiness with self. You know, creating this, you know, relationship or relationships in your life that are just bring a lot of joy and happiness to you, okay? So again, it's worth waiting for. But you might have to go through, you know, some maybe not so great ones, okay? Just to keep in mind, that, this is about having confidence. Confidence is key, okay? The Magician card came out in reverse. Now, when I say confidence is key, no one here is perfect. No one. I got a comment the other day on a TikTok video that like somebody hates my eyebrows. Cool, don't look. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone's gonna love you, and that's their loss, right? If they're not willing to get to know you and they make an assumption, screw them. But at the end of the day, confidence is key. If you know who you are, and if you love you, and you know what you bring, then if somebody doesn't get that, move. Because other people are gonna notice your vibrance, your light, your aura. They're gonna feel that. They're gonna be like, who is that? I wanna share a story that I heard, and I cannot remember who used this example, but there are two women. I think it was a psychologist. He said, I've seen a lot of different clients and patients in my day. And he's like, I had a client who was, I guess by like fitness and, model industry standards would be considered very beautiful, in shape and all that stuff. Okay. And she had gained like 5 pounds, which is not, no one would have noticed, but probably her. And you could tell she wore it on her face, like completely down, out, like just didn't have that, her beauty didn't shine out, right? Because she was so focused on that 5 pounds. All of a sudden, he has another client who has always been, voluptuous, curvy, maybe, thick, what maybe we would say. And maybe wouldn't fit the, again, fitness industry standards of what beautiful and healthy and in shape looks like. But this individual had lost like 20 or 30 pounds and was wearing this amazing dress that she had bought because she like lost all this weight and just killed it. Walked into her room and literally every single person, eyes were on her because she just lit the room up. She was so happy with herself and at peace, and like she knew she was beautiful and how she worked on herself. And that's what I'm talking about. Do not let anybody try to dull your shine, period. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it comes within. The moon card is like, it's really what you feel about you. It's your inner thoughts. It's your beliefs, So again, this is all about confidence, baby. It's about holding yourself up because you are the shit. Period. End of story. And someone is going to look at you and be like, this is everything that I've ever wanted and more. I'm the luckiest person alive, right? So it's all about how you think, feel, and believe about yourself. And I know, again, you don't need cards to tell you that, but it's reiterating the message, and I want to share that because I think some of you are nervous. You're like, oh my gosh, we've been in COVID, and I've gained a little weight, or some of my clothes are tight. Let me tell you something. You have just become too powerful for those clothes. That's number one. And number two, someone is they're just, shape is shape. And they're going to see you and be like, that's my everything. Okay, it is perspective. 4 of Swords. Now this is going to be your choice to kind of wanting, and again, this goes all back to you if you want to move forward and if you want to get yourself out there. Rest time's over, I feel like, though. I feel like a lot of you are teeter-tottering, and rest time's going to be over, but you actually have to, you have to put yourself out there, unless you plan on marrying the UPS or the Amazon person, delivery person. But get comfortable with being uncomfortable, meaning like put yourself out there. Go to a movie by yourself, or go take yourself out to dinner, or go if there's an event or a concert and you want to go. Be safe always, but go. You'll never know who you can meet. But rest time is over, and I feel like you just mentally have to get yourself back into it. Okay? Yeah, 6 of Wands. I think for a lot of you, this time around is going to be different. And I'm so glad. This is going to be a lot more confident, happy, victorious, saying, look, we might not be a match. But that just means that I just moved someone else I moved the next person in front of the line closer to me, the one that's meant for me. I know what I bring to the table. I pay my bills. I look cute. I smell good. I'm emotionally intelligent. I've worked on myself. You are going to be a present and a gift for someone, okay? I really hope you enjoyed this reading. And let me know if you like these types of readings. I'll certainly consider doing more. All of you, enjoy, trust yourself, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing, okay? So be gentle. If you guys want to follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, I post there quite a bit too. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.